Oops. Hey there. Hey everybody. Let's see if anybody hops on. I'm here at the ocean. It's such a relief after being at home, primarily for the last, since March. And with the heat we've had and the smoke we've had, to breathe in this beautiful ocean air on this gorgeous, clear, blue sky day and smell the ocean air. Hi Sandra, hi Cynthia. And I'm not sure if I can see everybody coming on. And finding a place where there are no other people. That has been a challenge. I've had to drive about an hour north and actually walk through some people, hence the mask, which I had up before, and I've passed a few people. But as it's getting a little closer to the sun coming down, people are there's nobody on the beach now, which I am totally enjoying. So I wanted to share that with you and just reflecting on all sorts of things. It's so wonderful, it's so energizing. I wish that you could smell the ocean air and feel the water. It's actually, the water's quite cold here, but once you get used to it, it feels very refreshing. Super great, very energizing and clearing, and so welcomed and wonderful. And the tide is coming up. Yeah, just reflecting a lot on hey Karen, KB, where were you? We were meeting. I took a walk on the beach with Robin. Well, you know, via Zoom. Miss you. So, yeah, just doing a lot of reflecting. And today, a lot of people probably don't even know this or pay attention to this, but it is National Coming Out Day. And I was just reflecting on where I was on October 11th, 33 years ago, the year that I came out as a lesbian, and in my late 20s. It was actually the same year I got EBIS. A few months later, about 6 months later. He definitely was a force in my life when I reflect back on how much changed in my life after I got him. It's so interesting. It certainly wasn't like a direct, certainly not a conscious thing. This is so uncomfortable around my neck. There's no people here. So, yeah, it's just very, very interesting. So on October 11th, I was with my first girlfriend, and there was a big, huge march on at Washington, and it was, I don't know if it was the first march on Washington for gay rights. I'm sure it probably wasn't. It was certainly mine. And there was like 100,000 people there. It was one of the most amazing experiences. Hey, Joyce! And the slow, like there were a lot of chants that people were singing and stuff, and one of them is, "We are everywhere." And it was just like a sea of lesbians and gay men, and I'm sure there were trans people there, and so everywhere you walked in Washington for those few days. I was living in Vermont at the time, and we drove down to Washington with a group of people. Very big deal, very exciting. And yeah, it was just an extraordinary experience. It was, the AIDS quilt was laid out which was on the mall in Washington, and it was like a mile long. It was so... Shelly! Mwah! Virtual hug, hug, hug. Besos, besos. And it was just such an amazing experience that was so sad, tragic, to, you know, for the AIDS memorial, and how, like, the sheer reality in that way of the quilt. If you're not familiar with the AIDS quilt, you should Google it. I'm sure it's Googleable now. Because it was just like the volume of people who had died was staggering, absolutely staggering. So it was, yeah, not many years after the epidemic had started, and how little money was being put to that research at that time, and all that's transpired since then, and just feeling vulnerable. You know, it's like people don't know me. I've been out, really out, for all these years since then, with my family and friends and with my work and stuff. I don't hide it, but the thing is, you know, like, people just assume that you're heterosexual, at least for me. I'm not like a stereotypically looking lesbian, whatever that might be anyway. And so, yeah, that was a big wave. And so it's not a big thing for me to, like, come out or be out, but it is a big thing because you always have to keep coming out. That's the thing. It's like not a once and done deal unless you're like somebody like Ellen DeGeneres or somebody, you know, or somebody really famous where or if I were talking about it all the time. It's like not, you've just gone through so many different ranges of what it means to be out. Somebody coming by, hang on. The beach was empty when I started. And of course, I'm the only one on the beach wearing a mask. I saw two other people wearing a mask, and me. Anyway, I diversed. But it's such an interesting thing, you know. It's like when I was in a relationship, I could come out by just saying my partner and say her name. But when you're single, it's a very different situation, because I don't have that piece to just kind of have sitting there all the time. And so it's just interesting, you know, like how that works in our society, and that it's even a thing, you know, to just really truly be who you are. And that's one of the things that I was reflecting on. It's like all of my work as a coach and in the healing world, and for all these years, is always, you know, part of what it's about is being truly who you are, to yourself, listening to yourself, being able to find that expression. Ooh, it's a beautiful moment of quiet with the waves. Emphasizing that. Being genuine and true to yourself. You know, and what does that mean, and how does that get expressed, and in what ways is that important for you, you know, and it's just what it is for each individual person. But it has such an effect collectively. You know, and when I look at right now and where everything is in the world and here, and kind of things in mainstream about looking at your soul path, looking at, you know, even just the words being true to yourself and being authentic. 30 years ago, that lingo wasn't, those kinds of phrases weren't really that thing. And it was a much bigger deal 30 some years ago, I guess that was 33 years ago, to come out and sometimes, you know, like people have such different ranges of experiences with it, with their families. I'm so fortunate so blessed that my family is so accepting. It wasn't always easy. There were some things that were challenging, but you know, I'm just so blessed because I know that that's not the case. Some people have had to completely remove themselves from their family or been kicked out from their family and have horrible experiences. Of course, there's people who've died, been killed for it. And so it's, you know, in my sense of the overall, like, human race and sort of this day and age, it's still sort of inconceivable to me that it should be a big deal. But I am an eternal optimist and an eternal idealist, which I used to get teased for, as many did, right? But I believe in us, and I believe in our growth and our capacity and our ability to move forward and grow and learn and be able to listen. It's not always easy, you know. You've got to feel your feelings, but you know, but I think it's so important to just get down to the truths of yourself, right? And give yourself permission to live from those places. And I think for all of us, in many different ways, it's always a lifelong process. This is just one of the pieces for me that has been a interesting life path and at times challenge. And but so grateful that I am the way that I am. So anyway, those are some of my reflections for today. Oh, those are beautiful waves, big crashing waves. But I just wanted to share that with you, and share the beauty of this amazing ocean, beach, and the amazing fact that there's nobody in this direction. That is, hey Tony, hey Robin, that there's nobody down there. Because everywhere that I wanted to stop today, which was about 8 different places, the parking lots were packed and I just wouldn't stop. Down that way, I don't know if you can see them, there are people down that way closer to the other side of the beach, which is where more people stay, but this is what I was looking for, this way. Yee-hee. So grateful. So blessed. And it's such a nice, this weather and having clear skies and not be smoky, because the fires that are at least closer, they're all close to being contained. There's fires about 2 hours north of here that are 98 in Big Sur, that are 98% contained. And so this quality of the air, and I just pray that they are able to fully 100% contain them, because they are still burning and there's still hot spots, but not where it was even just 10 days ago. And then if we could just get some rain, beautiful, gentle rain, would be so lovely. This is supposed to be the beginning of our rainy season. And I appreciate these blue skies, and I would, as everybody would, welcome a lot of the rain that's been happening elsewhere. Maybe not to the extent down south, but anyway, thanks for joining me. Love you all, and aloha for now.